Hello and good day, everybody. Scott Lane. I'm the Principal Solutions Architect for Citrix Central US, and here today to talk to you about AppDNA and the announcement you've probably heard about by now, and that is that for Platinum customers of XenApp and XenDesktop at XenApp XenDesktop 7.5, we're including AppDNA, not a stripped-down version, the full bore version, so that you can actually look at remediating your applications to move forward with your desktop and application virtualization projects. So I'm going to give you a quick demo, if you will, from a long time XenApp, XenDesktop Citrix guy, what it looks like to jump into AppDNA and what value we can get out of it. I'm going to jump first into an environment here, go right out to the dashboard view, if you will, and you can see here that I've already put 30 applications in here, looking at things like, will it work in 64-bit Windows 7? Will it work in an AppV environment, hosted terminal server XenApp type environment, as well as the server OSs. Now, by now you're probably thinking or asking the question that I had the first time I saw this, and that question is, okay, that's great. I can see that there's a lot of things I can check against, but really, how easy is it to get my applications in there? And that's why I want to jump over here to this other server that's, if you will, we'll call it the unbaked cake. It's where we're going to put some applications in to actually do some testing. So I'm going to pull a couple of these up here. Let's just do one like Hard Copy Pro. And I just pulled that right in here. If you look here, whoops, let me get a hold of it again here. There we go. You'll see here that I just went down to Discover Applications, and I'm doing a direct import. Basically, I just point out to the share, if you will, that has all of my MSIs on it, and I simply drag these MSIs right over into the UI for AppDNA. I could actually also even browse for them. I kind of like the drag and drop method. After doing that, I want to click on this import button. And what it's basically doing here is retrieving the applications, and what it's doing, if you look at this green taskbar here, it's extracting and starting the analysis of the files. It has to unpackage everything that goes into making up the application. Basically, it's looking at the application's DNA. It's pulling it all together for further analysis. You might be saying, hey Scott, that's great, but not all of my applications are MSI based, and I say, well, that's fine. With this install capture feature, we can capture a base OS, basically on a type 2 hypervisor running on the AppDNA server, and then we can compare what it looks like before and after an install. And I've had some really crazy apps over the years, ones where you have to manually run a few exes, register a few DLLs, etc., etc., etc. That's perfect for that. Also, you can even import AppV packages to check those. All right, so the loading is now done. I'm going to go over here and click on Analyze. And if you think about that, that means I just put the cake in the oven, if you will. It's now going to go through, and after I choose a few things here, I'm going to check against some heuristics that I set up for it. I'm going to ask if it'll do against 64-bit. I hope nobody's disappointed, but I'm not going to check against Windows Vista. I mean, I know somebody out there is going to be just heavily disappointed, but I'm not going to check against that. Anyway, moving on. Will it work in a multi-win environment? And also my server OSs. And for the heck of it, I'm going to also check against AppV. And when I click Next, it is now running the analysis against the application DNA, up to 70,000 heuristics that it's checking against. Now this takes a little bit of time, so we're not going to wait on that. We're going to jump back over to my other server where I've already run some analysis, and I'd like to dig right in. And the first thing I want to show you is what we call affectionately our RAG report, and it stands for RAG because it's red, amber, green. This is a great report for you to stop at first thing after you've brought your applications into the environment. You'll notice that you can also export these out into Excel, web page, or also just print them. This is actually a good thing to pass around to your managers after you do your initial analysis of these applications. And the way this works, if you look down this report here, it actually, take for example Corel Paint Shop Pro. We'll go across here, and it will tell us, based upon the technology that we want to use or deploy this on, what we might run into. For example, if we were to put this on a Server 2008 R2 box we get an amber warning, which means there's something about this application that we're going to have to remediate. Server 2012, we've got quite a bit more. And if you look at the overall complexity, you'll notice that this application has 3 dots in the complexity column as opposed to 3 on XenCenter, which means it's going to take quite a bit more. It's a harder application to remediate versus XenCenter, which is a pretty easy one. If we want to jump down in here a little bit, let's take a look at that Server 2008 R2 metric, and let's see what exactly the problem was. And it pops up here that there are some obsolete components. And if we scroll down, it actually gives us an idea of what the problem is. And just glancing at this, I can tell, and probably could have guessed it, that there are some 16-bit subsystems with this. Basically some modules or API calls that are outdated. And it actually recommends remediation. It says to recommend that compatible runtime files listed below are added to the application installer, which means that you might have to go out and check with the application manufacturer to get the latest files and modules that you would need to make this work. One of the things I do want to show you straight out of the gate is that you can actually look at technologies again based upon how you are going to deploy it. I looked at CorelDRAW as just one app. I want to look at the whole application suite, for example, on XenApp Hosted. And I can go to an estate view for XenApp Hosted. And what's neat about this report is I can see that before I ever start doing anything, of all the applications I've imported to look at on this particular project, 60% of them should just work fine in a XenApp Hosted environment. After I do remediation, I should be able to get that up to about 97% of the applications. That's just testing against multi-win. More on that in a moment. But if we go down here and look at some of the things that I might have to fix, mainly runtime issues, application permission issues, performance considerations are also called out, as well as just application permission issues, as I've mentioned before. And you can actually scroll up here and see a bar graph on the percentages of the things that you're going to have to deal with. For example, 10% of the applications that are in this column have general server hosted compatibility issues. They may not be multi-win friendly. The good news is if I go down and look at the application issues themselves, application by application, I can actually get a nice list. All these ones that are green, I can just probably go on ahead and consider deploying them on XenApp today. But these ones that are amber, I'm probably going to have to work on. I'm going to have to do something with them. Let's just kind of jump into those and maybe take a look. For example, if I go in here to Photoshop, I can actually, again, get back to the remediation issues of what I might need to do. And you can see permission errors on this one around registry keys. And obviously, it's not something that I can't overcome. It's just going to require some work. Now, just looking at that, you might think that I have a nice, big, long list of green applications that will work inside of a XenApp 7.5 server environment. Well, this is where some people might get caught. Remember, I just checked against multi-win capabilities. Let's say that I want to virtualize my environment on server 2012 or 2012 R2. If I go to the estate view, you'll notice that things look a lot different here. Obviously now only 46.7% of my applications fall into the green category, and even after remediation, I may only be able to get to about 77% of my applications. So it's very important when you're running AppDNA analysis that you run your estate view against all the different technologies involved. And that could be obviously the server platform, the OS platform, and then whether or not it's a multi-win such as XenApp, and even if AppV is involved. So with that, that's a very, very quick demo of AppDNA, and obviously we'd be happy to meet with you and give you a deeper demo. Just reach out to your Citrix account rep. So with that, I thank you for your time and have a nice day.